Into it. Okay, just a big warm welcome to everyone again, and especially to Kimsa, who's with us. Hello, Kimsa.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you.
Now, I've had the privilege of knowing Kimsa over these last 7 years, being the minister here in the parish, and Kimsa's been running our Cambodian fellowship group. And he's got an amazing story that it's a very faith-building story, incredibly impacting on many people. And I'd love him just to share that with us today. So, Kimsa, I want to begin by asking you just about a certain period of the history of Cambodia when the Khmer Rouge was in power in the 70s to the 90s, and just the effect that had on you. What was it like growing up in that time?
Well, as 14, 15 years old at the time, you sort of like quite, it's normal life, basically, when mom and dad sort of like having mom got grocery shop and dad have a repair watch and television, and you go to school as normal, and sort of like all right until the war start. When the war start, didn't realize much that that affects my life then until my growing up a little bit when the family is not nearby, no parent nearby, and just you by yourself. So you sort of try to find food to eat yourself, and then what was I gonna eat next day, sort of thing. Um, and then it's really a difficult part in terms of that, missing the family, missing the crowds. I think my family is more so like hospitality houses, if you like. Yeah, at the time. So I miss all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what was the spiritual beliefs that you held to back there?
At the time they was very strong. My parents were strong in Buddhist. They really temple every day, every night and night time, and they sort of like went outside, get the children outside, and go blessing the house, sort of thing, before they go to sleep, sort of thing. It's quite strong in Buddhist. Yes.
Mm. And when you were growing up, what did you train to do? What was your desire, as a young lad?
Well, I always want to be a doctor, basically, but my parents want me to be an engineer.
Okay.
Yeah, and because they have a repair watch and television, motorbikes and things like that, and I have to say, because those days it's a lot of earning money through that. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
So what did you in the end train to do or train to become?
Oh wow, I sort of like go whatever come with me, basically, Mike. I'm not really think that, oh, this is what I'm gonna do. I don't have ambition or something like that to be doing anything. It's sort of like go as with the flow, sort of thing. Yeah, but back in my mind, I always want. I'm not sure. So I always want to help people in a way.
Mm.
But
Mm.
from young age, I helping older people, helping people that don't have a job. And to be honest with you, I was about after in the war, there was about 16 or 17. I own a little farm, and I got about 7 people work for me.
So you're
They
quite
don't
an
have job.
entrepreneur.
Yeah, they don't have job. So my dad was so surprised that why I got the money from, sort of
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
So did you do anything medical in the end with your life with that sort of passion?
Yes. I was in a refugee camp, and actually I have leprosy then, and I stay in the hospital, and I become a nurse, and then I become a head nurse, and yeah. So
Wow.
it's so
So
like,
now, when I went to visit Cambodia with you last year, there was two places that sort of stood out in my mind as just events that, yeah, that just stayed with me. One was when we stopped the van and we looked across the road, and you said, you know, that's where Dad used to fix radios, and you had your home, and then you said, and you remembered there was a great sort of firefight that went on between the soldiers and the Khmer Rouge, and you guys had to flee
yeah.
out the back, and you pointed to a rice field where you had to hide. Can you just tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I think in the evening was so like everybody in the village was so pleased, so happy, and at night time we wake up. I think it was probably about midnight or just past midnight, and the village is full of fires. You can sort of like no lights at all, but the fire was just burning a whole village, and you was thinking, what's happening? And then you heard the people yelling and screaming and all that, and children was crying, and in those days they sell the petrol into the 44-gallon drum, and the 44-gallon drum was just flying up on the air, full of flames burning, So and then everyone was just trying to escape as fast as I can, as far as they can from the thing. And then the next day was the house was flat and all is just ash,
Yeah.
and from there on, everybody was losing their children and separate from one another, and yeah,
And,
2 days later, my family got back together. Far away from that village, of course,
and you had to
about
hide in a
5 3
pond,
miles.
didn't you?
Yes, yes. Somehow we have a pond was sort of like across from the village to the rice field, and then I was not just me, quite a few of children went into that pond, and then as you imagine, in the water from 12 o'clock to 7 in the morning, and your skin and your leeches as well was quite you, and then your skin was so like wrinkles or
Yeah.
in the water too long.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Must have.
They're really difficult. Unfortunately, the country is warm. It's not a cold. If it's cold, I think that nobody survive in that pond.
Yeah. So the other sort of incident I remember, we went from that place and we drove towards your wife's village. Was
Yes.
you stopped us and you said, "See that tree?" And we said yes. And then you mentioned that that's where the Khmer Rouge took your father, and tragically his life was taken from him there. And you were hiding nearby in a ditch and observing all of this. Can you just walk us through a little bit about the circumstances around that?
Yeah, when they caught that from the other village and tracked them along, is they changed him, uh, of course, with the chain from the leg and the chain on the arms back, and then at the 12 of them there, 12 of them there, and that is the last one, and they track him along, going to the dip where the river are, little river there, and then they come up the river and then go across the other side to the tree that are pointing out, and then under that tree there, not far from that tree, there was a big hole there. I wouldn't say too big, but because of 12 people that they dig the hole and they put the 12 people in there, that was seemed to be floating around on that hole. The leg was come out and the arm was come out and the back was come out, and you could sort of like see the leg was sort of in the surface, and the arm was come out from the dirt. They probably have a bit of
Mm,
scoop of dirt to put on top of it. That's where I see that laying on top of the other
mm.
11. Yeah.
So that was a traumatic experience for you to see, and then to live through
Yes.
that. You came to the point where you said, we've got to get out of here. We're all going to die if we don't get out of this country. Tell us a little bit about the journey of getting out of the country.
Well, the journey to get out of the country, we start to walk to the west side, which was go to the Thai border. It's on the west side, And then instead of walk on the main street, we go across all the rivers and the rice field and then the mountain, all that, right? So from my village, when we was there, we're driving is about 3 or 2 hours to the border, right? But we walked 2 months walking, all right? And then as soon as we start walking, we sort of like see some people follow it. And at the end, we get together was about 200 people walk through it. And when we walk through there, and every now and then you can hear the mine flowing, mine blowing up in the front of you, probably about 4 or 5 meter or 10 meter or sometimes 20 meter, sometimes on the sides as well. 4 or 5 meter on the side, mind blowing, and you sort of like walk from people moving across one step, and your feet have to be on that step. You can't move because of that. Why you got one of this wire and then got the mind blowing. Traumatic sin for me is one guy was about 5 meters from me and got his body was just blow up the ear. Was terrible. I wouldn't imagine that to tell this story to the children, sort of thing. It's really difficult.
No way.
And yeah, some of them die by snake bite, mine, and then starvation. And nothing to eat. Starving. It's really difficult. And I found myself then, I think before that, as a leprosy as well. So no one else sort of like want to be near me, got rejected. And then start to walk, get through to close to the Thai border. I meet one of this house, and then I saw the little girl there. She was about 7 or 8, and I was really thirsty. It's too hot walking many days. So I asked her for water to drink. She grabbed water with this, it's sort of like what do you call a galvanized bowl, and she grabbed that water, gave it to me, and I drank it, and the father come across, so I see my face, and he recognized straight away I'm have leprosy. So he taking, pulling that bowl out of my hand, throw them on the ground, step on it, and he said that, don't give it to him, you might get leprosy, and my heart was so like so painful, so hurt by hearing his word that, I don't blame him because everybody don't want to have the disease like that, right? So, yeah.
And so you eventually got to Thailand and to the refugee camp. And it took you 2 months, 200 of you left. And how many arrived there alive? How many made it?
Seven of us survived into the camp out of those 200. I think some of them probably disappear some other ways and or dying. But to get to the camp, it's only 7 of us. Yeah, wow. And then I was get put straight away to the hospital. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you to the UNHCR. Yeah.
So how long were you in the camp for, Kimsa?
I was in the camp for 9.5 years, Mike. Yeah. Yes.
Then you came to New Zealand after that.
Yes, yes. I
Yeah.
come to New Zealand and stay in Mangry Hotel for 3 weeks. Yeah, and then come back to Hamilton. Yeah.
So how old were you when you arrived in the camp?
I was in the camp. I think I probably about 20 or 21.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that you would have been very traumatized. You had leprosy, and how long were you in the hospital for?
I was in hospital. This is the Lord have sort of like choosing me. I was in hospital. I was 2 years in hospital, and then I was, yeah, I know the Lord 1 years in the hospital, and then after that I saw 2 years there in hospital, and my doctor said, you seem to be smart, I'm going to get you to train anatomies, study nursing. So he put me through all these nursings and anatomies and all that, and I become a nurse, and then he knew that I'm a Christian, and he doesn't like Christian, but I think I feel his love with me a lot, and then I said that I have to go to church. I have to go to church. So from hospital to the church is a little bit far away, even though small camp. By walking bare feet, you imagine, after you walk so many months there. Yeah, when I went to the church, I get another rejected from the Christian people. You wouldn't believe that.
Why was
Because,
that, Kimsa? I mean, there's two stories here. I'd love to share,
yeah,
for you to share how you came to faith, but just complete this
yeah.
story.
Okay, just a short, I don't think we have much time. To stay in hospital there, and somehow I found the book of John.
Yeah.
The book of John is have a bit of a English and Khmer, right? So because I want to study English, I'll just read Khmer and then comparing what they say in English and then start to study from there. But at the end, that English become a disappear, become like a story that I have to find true God, you know?
Mm.
That's where the English was aside. The study English part is aside, but the story about the real God is come to face that in the book of John. Yeah.
Mm.
So anyway, and then when I went to the church, I said I have to get to the church because only me in hospital as a Christian. So I went to church, and then no one sit near me, Mike. No one sit near me. I sit at the back. First, I think that all this Christian was really good because all the missionary that work in hospital, they hacking the leprosy and they kissing the leprosy and they cleaning the hand of leprosy and then they washing their feet of the leprosy. So I asked them, why you do this? My people had leprosy. Why you so love leprosy? And they told me that the God's love, and then that's where they do that. And then I see that love from the missionary. But when I went to the church, I see a different thing. The church, the Khmer church was sort of like upset me in a way because they didn't sit near me. They didn't want to talk to me. I sit by myself. But the thing I really love to go to church is it just basically set those people aside. But the preacher and me and God were just like in prison with me.
Mm.
Don't worry about all those rejecting, but the gospel was seem to be getting to me so much. That make me still love to go, even those are rejected by the other Christian. You know.
Mm.
So yeah, that's really got me to life. Yeah, and then a year later, after the church, I got married, and then married by years, and we got a son, and the son died. And then 6 months later, our wife dies, And
This is
yeah, just like, just the story of Psalm 88. It's just like me there, You know that there's God, but why you got all these things happening? Yeah, so yeah, yes, Psalm 88 is sort of like sum up a little bit in that story
mm.
for me, and then the Job thing, the Job story. Yeah.
So what helped you get through that? Was it the scriptures? Was it an experience with God? Just, I mean, that's incredible suffering.
Yeah. One verse from the Bible is Psalm 34, verse 18. The Lord is near the people that really broken heart, and Lord is near the people that suffering, that rejected, and then also he saved the crushing spirit.
Mm.
So yeah, that's a Psalm 38, 18.
And so that
And
was an experience for you.
that's a big experience for me.
Yeah,
And I knew somehow he's always with me, even though I'm in that. But
yeah,
to sum it up, um, I'm not as painful as Jesus. They abandoning him. They they rejecting him, and they crucify him. I'm looking at my life, and I look at him. I'm not even near those pain. You know
mm,
that make me sort of like keep going. And a Christian friend. I mean, the missionary that pulled me through from there. And
bless you.
one year and 8 months that after my wife died, I away from the Lord.
Mm.
Yeah, but my Christian friend was sort of like, try to comfort and get me back to the Lord. Yeah, I never think I'm gonna be a Cambodia preacher, preaching like that. I never think of. Beside from there, I never think that I will be in New Zealand.
Mm.
Yeah,
So you've been through some incredible tests of faith, and you've alluded to Job, and we've heard your story. But one of the big tests of faith, I remember you talking at a pastors' conference, was that you actually met the person who was in that squad
yeah.
that took your father's life. And was that
Even
in the
the
camp?
yeah. Um, it's make a lot of the a lot of day to come up decision to forgive him. You know, all the friend, all the people that I know, all the cousin come to me. He's the one that killed your dad, and I said, I know he's killed my dad, but I'm a Christian now. And he said that you don't need to do it. They said, you don't need to do it. You just say that you want to kill him. I kill him. I do it. You know, all this my friend and my family and my cousin say that. I said, no, don't touch him. Please don't touch him. And take me 2 or 3 days to decide to say, I forgive you. You know, when I say I forgive you in front of him, I tell you what, my heart was filled joyful. Yeah,
Wow.
really, yeah. And then I can see his face as well. I can see his face that he was have nothing to say, but it just sort of like look at me, say, thinking that what on earth he's doing, you know? But he was pale. He was pale in his face. He was confront me, and I said, I'm a Christian, and I'm forgive you because God forgiving us. Yeah,
Wow.
God forgiving me. Yeah,
And so that
mm,
began a real healing in your heart.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
I never keeping the grudge anymore in my heart for that.
That's
But I'm
incredible.
so grateful that I forgive him. Yeah.
So in a way, that forgiveness was a blessing to you and freeing you from the
Yes,
resentment
he
and the
freed me.
bitterness and the revenge that could have
Yeah.
easily lived in your heart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you traveled, you got out of that situation, and miraculously you arrived in New Zealand, and life
The
has
Lord.
changed. And so just
Yes.
tell us maybe just some of the amazing things that you've looking back on, and you're just saying, I'm so grateful to God for the changes that have taken place. What kind of changes have taken place in your heart?
Well, the change in me is, when we went back to Cambodia and helping people. Remember the close friend to my dad, he sit beside us when we have dinner.
Yes.
He said to me, I look at you, I see your father. And I was sort of like, I'm not even look like my father. My father was quite tall, got curly hairs, I was short, but I'm not too sure what he meant. And he said to me, him is helping people. Go through village to village helping people. That's what your dad is. And I see you there. I see you as your dad. You know, you see the picture of this. That's where made me thinking that the the parenting, it's really important. Sometimes the word that we say they might not remember, but they remember your action.
Mm,
Yeah, yeah.
mm,
So God, God not just get you to go out there to tell people, to give gospel to people, but He also tell you to show people,
mm,
right?
mm,
So Jesus do them all,
mm,
you know. Jesus do them all,
mm,
and and I was so grateful. That's where the change in me, Mike. That's was
mm.
a change. Yeah, yeah.
So the loving by word and the loving by deed.
I
And
did that.
and just talking about love, you've you've met your wife Sa, and it's different from our New Zealand context. Just tell us a little bit about that story.
Well, when I in New Zealand about 4 or 5 years, I went back twice. The reason why I went back twice is to find out how many of my siblings are still alive. Right?
Yeah.
I don't thinking about Mary at all. But when I come back for those two times after I found Kimsa and Kimsa and all that, and then I come back, um, the SARS auntie told me that well, you've been not married for a long time, so why don't you marry? Thinking about marry again. And I said, I don't know who to marry because no one is Christian. And she said, well, go and see my niece, and then see. I don't think she's a Christian, but just try to see if they can, convert her or whatever to kind of become a Christian, and then yeah. So I went. I see. I didn't went straight away though. Yeah. She sent me a picture, and then I see the picture, but it's all like the picture was a like old picture, and then you saw like not see the face probably. And I said, oh, okay, I'll finally say yes. When I went and get off the airport, three girls there. I'm not sure which one. So one of them was really chatterbox, and she started to speak to me, and then I think that the one, but she said, no, it's not me, it's this one. Yeah. So yeah, we get arranged Maria. We marry, and 3 days we fly out to New Zealand together, and from there on, I look back at the book of Job, and I see that I lost one son and I got 2 daughters, and I got a wife, and
So
God
many
bless me.
things have
You
been
know, and
restored to you. So faith,
yes,
obviously, Sar had a faith experience or had come to Christ before that.
yes, yes. She's come to cry the second day I met her, and she baptized.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah,
It's wonderful. Well, we're
yeah,
very blessed to have you guys in the church, and you're running the fellowship there, our Cambodian fellowship.
yeah. Thank
And
you.
so, if anybody's watching and wanted to know more information about the gospel, the Jesus story, or what the Cambodian fellowship is about, you can look at them on the. What's the name of your Facebook page?
I just have my name, but the CCF, which was a Cambodia Christian Fellowship, yeah, contact me, and then we get together. I think this, but during this lockdown, we on Zoom as well. All right. But apart from there, we get dinner together once a month on Saturday night, and then we also have the Zoom every Saturday now until the lockdown finished, and we start back together in the house. Yeah.
Right. Well, thanks so much, Kimsa, for sharing part of your life story. There's lots of gaps in
Yeah.
there, we know, but
Yes, a
what
lot.
you've shared is an amazing story of God's preserving presence in your life. He's
Thank
there when
you.
you were brokenhearted. He was there to bring you the good news about his son Jesus through the loving deeds of missionaries, and you've certainly picked up the story and run with it yourself in an incredible way. So God bless you in what you're doing. So thank you, Kimsa.
Yeah, thank you, Mike, and thank you everyone watching. And continues trust the Lord. The Lord is with you. All right,
Amen.
that's my character. Amen. Thank you.